What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Inside the Horseshoe. I'm your host, Matt Beer, and last night the NFL officially released the schedule for the upcoming season. Now, we already knew the home and away games for every team. Now we know when those games are going to take place, and that's very important, especially for the warmer weather teams as we get to the end of the season, because whenever you see a team like Tampa Bay, Miami, whatever, go up to, I don't know, Indianapolis, Minnesota, teams in that kind of an area where it's colder, it could actually be more difficult for those warmer weather teams to win. So, as we get down to the nitty gritty, once we get to week 14, 15, 16, and 17, or 17, if, say Tampa Bay is battling for first place and they have to go to Chicago and they have to play an away game there, that can make or break that game just because of the weather. So, I'm going to give you my thoughts on the Colts schedule, and as the weeks go by, I'm going to give you my thoughts on everybody else's schedules and kind of give my predictions as we get closer to the season. The reason why I'm just doing the Colts is because I want to have more things to talk about each week. And also, I'm a Colts fan, so I want to give you my thoughts on that first before we go to another team. So let's get into it right now. We're going to start off in week 1. And note, every team is going to begin their season in September. At the moment, things are staying on pace. It's on par. Nothing seems to be changing. But with this whole coronavirus, who knows how bad it's going to be in August, September. So it may actually get pushed to October, November. So this is all going to be fun, of course. So week 1 is at Jacksonville. So the Colts open up their season again away. And this is a game I'm pretty sure the Colts are going to win this game because Jacksonville's in a rebuild mode, and now we see, Indy with DeForest Buckner, which is going to improve that defensive line. Phillip Rivers is going to improve the passing game. And when I say that, I'm talking about the timing. He has an arm still, like he has a cannon for an arm. Maybe not as strong as Jacoby Brissett. However, he makes better passing decisions, I think. And now he has that offensive line that can protect him and give him some time to make decisions. So, when it comes to that, unlike what he had last year in LA, he's going to have a little more time to make that decision, so he won't have to force it as much. So I do like that for him. Plus, adding Michael Pittman is going to be big for him. Jack Doyle is a really good tight end. Burton could be really good too, but it depends. Will Burton continue to get hurt? And Ty, he's still reliable. He does get hurt quite a bit, but now that there's more people on the offensive side that can catch the ball, Ty won't get hurt as much. So I'm going to give the win to Indy here. It's not much. It's not really going to affect how they play because usually beginning of the season, it's pretty warm pretty much everywhere unless you have one of those weird times, one of the weird years where it's colder in the beginning of the season. But I'm going to go win for the Colts in week 1. Then we get to week 2, and the Colts are playing the Minnesota Vikings in week 2. So Kirk Cousins is coming to Indianapolis to play the Colts. And this is a toss-up more than anything, I think, because I think Minnesota has a good team. However, I do think their defense has taken a step back from 2 years ago. I think it's on par with last year. I don't think it's really gotten better. They had a good draft, I think, too. They did, they lost Diggs, and they got a good receiver, but at the same time, with Justin Jefferson, but at the same time, Diggs, I think the proven factor is going to be a big thing. So now this is the home game in Indy. I'm actually going to give the win to Indy. It's the first home game of the year. I do think this is going to be a close game. It's going to come down to the fourth quarter, but I do trust Indy's defense more than I trust Minnesota's. Plus, like I said, with Justin Jefferson, we just don't know how good this guy's going to be. And same thing with Michael Pittman. But, at least with the Colts, they have other options too. They can run the ball real well. And so can Minnesota with Cook. But the Colts can stop the run game. They really can, unless they give up like they were in the second half of the season last year when it didn't seem good. So I'm going to give the win to Indy here. So that would put them at 2-0 for me. And then week 3 is another home game. This is against the Jets. This could either be a blowout or it's going to be like a 7-14 point game. I did like the Jets draft. Obviously got some protection for Sam Darnold. I do think Sam Darnold is a pretty good quarterback, but I was never on the train of, oh, this guy's great. Like some people were when he was coming out of the draft. He never really did great against Notre Dame. When I watched him play against USC, Notre Dame seemed to handle him, and he hasn't really proven to me that he is a franchise player. I do like him though. I think he's pretty good. I just don't think he's great. Um, Obviously you have Bell there. He's going to be a pretty good running back, but the team overall is still lacking on pretty much every other factor, like defense. I don't think their defense is good. The receiving core is not great. They lost Robbie Anderson, so that's pretty big. But they did get Mims, I believe, right? They got Mims with that second round pick, and Mims is good. But I just don't think they're going to be enough to really do anything this year. They're probably going to win 3, 4 games at the most. I just don't see much from them this year, so I'm going to give the win to Indy there, which would put them at 3-0. Then they're playing the Bears. Um, this is in Chicago. This is in October, so weather could be great, weather could suck. This is going to be one of those situations where it could suck and really could factor Philip Rivers. It really could because Philip Rivers is older. He, like I said, he still can make those, quick decisions. It's just who knows what he's going to do, and you know, this late in his career in the cold. The Bears' defense is good. I like their defense quite a bit. However, I just think the Colts have a better defense. I don't think Foles, because we're going to assume Nick Foles is starting. I don't think Nick Foles is a great quarterback. Yeah, he won a Super Bowl, but he came off the bench, did that obviously. But then we saw what happened, at the beginning of, the following year. He didn't look great. And he really wasn't great anywhere. I mean, he had some good seasons in some places. I think he played in Washington. I could be wrong. He had like one, maybe 2 good years, but everywhere else he kind of struggled. He didn't really do anything in Jacksonville. Granted, he got hurt in week 1, but he still really didn't do much at all. And if they start Trubisky, this is a make or break it year. Maybe Trubisky was hurt the previous year, and you'll see a big difference. I don't think that's going to be the case. I don't think the Bears think that's going to be the case, because if you think he's going to improve and could potentially be your franchise guy, then why would you sign Nick Foles and not give Trubisky a fifth-year option? I just don't think the Bears have a lot of confidence in him, and neither do I. I think they did help the tight end possession by drafting Cole Kmet. I don't think Jimmy Graham is going to do a whole lot. I think maybe he could be a teacher to Cole Kmet more than anything. But yeah, I got the Colts winning that game. I don't see a lot from the Bears. So there's that. And honestly, this is a pretty, outside of Minnesota, a pretty easy start to the schedule. I mean, it is what it is. You never know. Maybe Philip Rivers absolutely sucks next year. I don't see that happening, but we'll find out there. And then they play the Browns, and it is in Cleveland, which maybe I should go to that game because I've never been to a Browns game before. That could be fun. But the Colts are playing at Cleveland. Again, to me, I think Cleveland has a lot of talent. They did draft a good offensive tackle, so that's going to help Baker, I think. I mean, Odell can make the catches. I like Landry a lot. They did good with the tight end. To me, I just don't. They can't figure it out. I don't know. Maybe Baker can fix it and can get back to what we thought he was going to be, because Cleveland had potential. I don't think their defense is all that great, but it's not terrible. I just don't think Cleveland's offensive weapons are really sinking. There's something wrong. Somebody, I think, has to go. Maybe it's Odell. I can't see Landry going because I think Landry fits perfect in that system. So I'm going to give the win to Indy because I think Indy has the better team. I really do. I like Philip Rivers. Like I said, I do like him in Indy. He knows the offense basically. Colts have a better defense, I think, with, adding DeForest Buckner, like I said. Their corners have improved. Malik Hooker is going to be playing really good, I think, because this is a contract year. Play great, you're coming back to Indy. Don't play great, who knows where you're going to go. Maybe you'll go to the Jets because they take all the guys the Colts let go. Apparently, at the cornerback position. Darius Leonard, he's a monster. I love Anthony Walker. Banagoo, I believe he plays linebacker as well. I like him. Okereke, I like Okereke a lot. I like Ture. I like Autry. I like the Colts defense a lot. Rhodes, I think, is in a let's prove it year. Sheldon Day is a guy who has experience. He played as a starter in all the playoff games, including a Super Bowl. I like Sheldon Day too, and him with Buckner is going to be big. So I just like that defense more. I think the defense is going to be enough to stop Cleveland, and I don't think Cleveland's defense is good enough to stop Marlon Mack on the run game. Jonathan Taylor, who knows? Maybe he won't do great, but I have confidence Jonathan Taylor is going to be a great running back in the future. I really do. Phillip Rivers, like I said, I like Phillip a lot. Colts have receivers now. Great offensive line. I just don't think it's enough for Cleveland to get the win. So I'm going to give that to Indy, which will put them at 5-0. I'm promising you, I am not being biased at all. I'm not a homer in this situation. This is what I truly feel like just looking at the matches. It's not like they're playing the Packers in week 1 or the Ravens. They're not. This is just what I ultimately see. But one other team I could potentially see 2 losses with the Vikings and Bears. But like I said, it depends with the Bears how it looks towards the end of the year. Or and that point of the season had a notification, so that threw me off. And the Vikings, they have weapons. They have the run game. I just think the Colts are a little better, so that's why I have them at 5-0. Then they play the Bengals. I like the Joe Burrow pick by the Bengals. I think the Bengals did make good decisions. I think T Higgins is going to be a really good receiver. Obviously, AJ Green being there, I think that's going to help Burrow a lot. And I do like their defensive front. I just, I, I see the Bengals doing better. I see a 5-6 win type season, but I just don't see them being good enough to beat Indy, especially in Indy. Um, I don't know. Maybe they can surprise us. Maybe Joe Burrow will come out and just light it up. I mean, he had an incredible senior year in college, or yeah, senior year. I just looking at it, I I I just don't think the Bengals are there yet. They're getting better, but I just don't see them being able to take down a team like the Colts or some of the other, like Ravens, Packers, Saints, Chiefs, name it. I don't think they're at that level yet. But you never know. So I'm going to give the win to the Colts, and then the Colts will be on a bye week. So to recap really quick, week 1's a win in Jacksonville. Week 2's a win against the Vikings. Week 3's a win against the Jets. Week 4's a win against the Bears in Chicago. Week 5 is a win at Cleveland. And Week 6 is a win at home against the Bengals. Now we get to Week 8, and they're at Detroit. This is Detroit. Their defense took a step down, losing Slay. I love Stafford. I really do. Honestly, if Stafford was going to be available, I would have took him. I like Stafford a lot. He's like 31, 32. He's still got some years left, but with those injuries, maybe he doesn't. Maybe he's only got a couple years left, and maybe Detroit sees that. But I love Stafford. I really do. Um, I just, again, I don't think they're there. I think they're 4th in the NFC North, and I have them losing to Indy here. It, I just don't see a lot there. Then we get to Week 9, and this is against the Ravens. This is the first test for the Colts. You never know. This will Lamar Jackson be able to continue what he did last year, or will defenses figure out how to stop him, and then the Ravens end up going a different way? I have confidence that Lamar Jackson will continue to do what he's doing. He's improving throwing the ball. Obviously, he's great with his feet. I think he's going to be a better passer, and I think he knows he has to improve that if he's going to last more than 4 or 5 years in the league. I do think he has to improve that, and I think he will. I think he's going to be a better passer this year, and he did take big steps from year 1 to year 2 in the passing. He won MVP for a reason. Their defense got a lot better. That offense is really good. I'm going to say the Colts lose against the Ravens. It's not going to be a blowout. It's going to be like 7 to 10 points, maybe less than 7. but at most 10. I think with that defense and with how good that offense is, I don't see a lot of teams stopping Baltimore. Maybe Kansas City, but I don't really see a lot of teams stopping them. And then we get to a Thursday night game. It's the only night game for the Colts, which confuses me, but whatever. We'll see if that changes or not. And they're playing the Titans. And look, I get it. Tennessee really surprised a lot of people last year. Tannehill really did do a pretty good job. Tannehill did not stink last year. Um, Derrick Henry ran like a monster. But how I've always thought of it, and maybe Ryan Tannehill will surprise me and change my mind on this, but I still feel like this to this day. You stop Derrick Henry, you're going to win. Every single time. Besides maybe one or two. I think the Colts win this game. They're going to win in Tennessee. I think the Colts are a better team. I don't think Tennessee improved all that much. And honestly, the Colts could have beat them both times last year. They obviously won in Tennessee week 2 last year. And they could have won this past week. The Colts were kicking to potentially do an onside and maybe do one more drive down the field to win. But Tennessee did block Adam Vinatieri's kick. I really hope that wasn't Vinny's last kick because he did have to sit out a couple games because of an injury. Whether it's with Indy or not, I hope Adam Vinatieri at least gets a couple more kicks because I don't think he wants that to be his last kick ever. So I do feel bad for him on that front. But going back to the game, I just don't think Tennessee is as great as what people say. Look at Jacksonville that year that they went to the AFC Championship game. Should have went to the Super Bowl. Absolutely should have went to the Super Bowl. Tom Brady did Tom Brady things. I don't see Tennessee finishing first in the division. So I'm giving the Colts the win. Tennessee might not even finish second. They might be third. Don't at me. I'm talking to you, Matt Graham. Then next they're playing the Packers at home. And this is a game I think the Colts will win. And I'll tell you why. Packers did no help to Aaron Rodgers. Look, I know a lot of people are like, why would you draft a quarterback with the first pick? I get that, and I agree. I agree with the mindset that they had to draft a quarterback. However, they drafted too early. There were a lot of really good receivers. Denzel Mims was available. T. Higgins was available. Michael Pittman was available. Chase Claypool, who I think would have fit perfect in Green Bay, was available. They drafted Jordan Love. And look, people have been saying Jordan Love could be the next Patrick Mahomes, just the way he plays and whatnot. He needs a year to sit behind, somebody. But Jordan Love could potentially be a top level quarterback. He could. I mean, there were people at one point saying that he was better than Burrow. It wasn't, but whatever. I like Jordan Love. I was kind of hoping the Colts would have got him. Unfortunately, they did not. And that's fine. The Packers ended up taking him. But the Packers didn't take a receiver at all in the draft. There's no help for Adams. What's Aaron Rodgers going to do? He's going to turn some undrafted free agents into superstars? That doesn't happen every year, guys. Packers aren't going to be nearly as good as what they were last year. I'm giving the Colts the win. Packers might finish third, maybe second, because you got Chicago still. They could finish ahead of Chicago. But they're not winning that division. They're not beating Minnesota. Minnesota will win that division. It's because Aaron Rodgers has no help. The defense was better, yes, but the defense did slack as the season went on. So I'm giving a win to the Colts. Then they played the Titans at home. I think Colts win at home. Again, Titans don't beat the Colts very often. I like Tennessee. I think they're a pretty good team. I just don't think they are playoff material. I don't think they're nearly as good as what people say. People are thinking, oh, Tennessee's a top 5 team in the league. No, they're not. They're not. They're not. Take out Derrick Henry, you're going to win most of the time. So I got the win to the Colts. Then the Colts go to Houston. And Houston made a really bold trade by trading Hopkins. I don't understand that, but they did get Cooks, and they got Cobb. But they lost Hopkins, and they got a couple broken ankles in return. I don't get it. Bill O'Brien. You confuse me to this day, but maybe that would turn out to be good. But the Colts are playing in Houston. Or in Houston. Yeah, they're playing Houston. I got Houston winning. I think Houston will win this game. I still think Deshaun Watson will do some great things. I honestly think it's going to be Houston versus Indy for that division. Maybe Tennessee will jump into second and Houston will fall to third if Hopkins is a big glare of, just somebody they miss. But I have, I have the Texans beating the Colts at home, or in Houston. I think Houston's still a pretty good team. Yeah, Tunzel. It's going to give him, Watson protection. Maybe Watson will be done with Houston after this year because of Bill O'Brien. Apparently, he's not happy, but who knows? Maybe they have another division win and he stays. But I'm going to give the win to Houston in that game. So we'll recap at the end. But I'll give Houston a win there. And then the Colts go to Las Vegas to play at the Raiders' new stadium. I would love to go to that game because that stadium looks amazing. Unfortunately, having an amazing stadium doesn't guarantee you to be a Super Bowl contending team. I like the Raiders. I actually have the Raiders making the playoffs. I like number 6. However, they're not beating the Colts. I got the Colts winning. I like Derek Carr. He's pretty good. I don't think he's good enough to be your franchise guy. Maybe in a different city he can be, but there's that. I love Jacobs. They got a good running system. Their defense did improve. However, that defense is still lacking. I got the Colts winning that game. And then the next game will be in Indy against Houston. And I got Indy winning. I think, again, it seems like every year the Colts and Texans will split. Colts will win a game and the Texans will win a game. That seems to be the case every year. And, besides the Manning days. But that seems to be the case. Maybe a couple luck days, is different, but, it is what it is. But I got the Colts winning. Like I said, these teams go back and forth. And this is a game that could either be on Saturday or Sunday, depending on the season. And if Houston is what I think they could be potentially, this could be a Saturday night game. I would still give the win to Indy, though. I just think Indy is a little better, but I do think Houston is a team that could take a win or two. They could win against Indy once, or they can win both times. And Indy could win both times, or they can just win the one. So I do have Indy winning that game. Should be a fun one, though. And then Indy goes to Pittsburgh. And this is a game that could go one of two ways. One, Big Ben's back. He's healthy. He dominates. And we get the old Big Ben again. And Pittsburgh is a 14-2 type of team. Either that, or Ben Roethlisberger gets hurt, or he is just not as good as what he once was. And Mason Rudolph or Ducky Hodges has to come in and play for him. So that could ultimately determine how the season goes. However, being in Pittsburgh, I just think at this point Pittsburgh is battling to make the wild card because I think the Ravens win that division. And I think they battled just enough to beat Indy by a field goal or less, which would hurt. And then the final game is at home against the Jaguars. I got Indy winning. Jacksonville's rebuilding. I don't trust Gardner Minshew like people do. Mustache. Not Minshew mania. That's not me. I like Gardner Minshew and I wish the best for him. And I don't hate Jacksonville. They are my favorite of the AFC South teams, not named the Colts. But I just don't think Jacksonville. I think Jacksonville might be the worst team. They legit could be the worst team in the league. They could. Or they could surprise people and beat Tennessee. You never know. So, I got the Colts winning that game, which, if I'm not mistaken, puts the Colts, according to me, at 13-3. Let's go at it again. They win at Jacksonville. They win at home against Minnesota, but could be a Minnesota win. They win at home against the Jets, because they're the Jets. They win in Chicago, but once again, weather could be weird. Maybe Nick Foles is great, and the Bears could win that game because the Bears have a great D. Colts win week 5 again, at the Browns. It's drama island over there. Colts win at home against the Bengals. Bengals are making the right moves, just not there. Colts win at Detroit. It's the Lions. Colts lose to the Ravens. I think Lamar Jackson is going to continue his MVP playing level. Colts win in Tennessee, Thursday night game. Take out Henry, you win. Colts beat the Packers. Aaron Rodgers was throwing to Adams and a couple of bums. Colts win against the Titans at home. Once again, take out Henry. You're more than likely winning every game. Colts lose in Houston. Sean Watson is still Superman and will probably win MVP. Colts win in Las Vegas. Raiders just aren't there yet. Defense lacks. Colts win at home against Houston. I think they split 1-1. Once again, it's just how it is always. Colts lose in Pittsburgh because, Big Ben, I think, is going to be great. Comeback player of the year. And then the Colts win at home against Jacksonville, putting them at 13-3, finishing second in AFC, I think. We'll see. We'll go over the other schedules. I didn't look at everybody's schedules. I saw the Bears schedule. I saw a little bit of the Packers schedule, and then I saw the Colts. So I will give you guys my playoff predictions once we get to, the preseason time. You never know. And this is a weird off season because of the coronavirus, so that is going to play a big factor into it. So, yeah, there are my thoughts on the Colts schedule that was officially released. I am excited to go to multiple games. I will be at the Packers game, the Ravens game, and other games too. So it's going to be a lot of fun. This whole season is going to be fun. I can't wait for the NFL to come back, period. Because the NFL is going to be fun. So, yeah. Thank you all very much for watching. I'll be back next week talking about some other schedules. I'll do 1 or 2 teams, something like that. I don't know. I got to build up to that moment, talk about some breaking news, yada, yada, yada. So, thank you for watching. I've been Matt, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.